can Peach use Lightning? So we're getting some of those requests, which means that people are looking at Peach. They see the value that Peach has in the Bitcoin community and the reputation, and they want to use it even more. So we're already getting requests from Africa, which is amazing. So, and one thing I need to say is that the Bitcoin adoption in Europe is different than the Bitcoin adoption in Latin America and Africa, because in Europe, it's more of a commodity. You know, sometimes, oh, it's fun to have Bitcoin. Some people see it as an investment. But when you go to Africa and to some Latin American countries and they're developing and they're going through some hard times, they have a very big necessity for Bitcoin as a store of value, because some of their local currencies, they have such inflation rates that they're unbearable. And Bitcoin to them means something different than to Europeans. So expanding to those places means that Peach is impacting positively the lives of people. So it's not just something fun, oh, I have Bitcoin. It's like Peach becomes a good solution for them to live life with dignity. What we're talking about is we're going directly to the DeFi protocols and getting the interest of the DeFi protocols. So for instance, we're talking about money on chain, which has dollar on chain.
Hello, this is the Bitcoin Libertarian. Our guest today is Alex Brou. Alex Brou is the CTO of Peach Bitcoin, that is a mobile-first peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange that allows users to buy and sell Bitcoin directly with others, all without KYC requirements, emphasizing privacy, self-custody, and direct fiat payments. Available across Europe, Africa, and Latin America, Peach connects buyers and sellers through its app, making it easier than ever to stack sats in a secure, intermediary-free way. Alex has been instrumental in building and scaling this project, from technical innovations to community engagement. Today, we will be exploring the origins of Peach, its unique features, challenges in the P2P space, and the future of KYC-free Bitcoin trading. Alex, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to host Peach. I was telling you before, I hosted Steph, I think that 1 year and a half ago. I still have a Peach t-shirt, and I'm not wearing today, but I still have at home. I need to take some pictures. So let's go. Alex, first of all, how were you orange pilled, and how did you arrive to Bitcoin?
I kind of orange pilled myself, honestly. Really. So my first contact with Bitcoin was, I think, around 2013. And I was reverse orange pilled. So I had someone telling me that Bitcoin was not a good idea. And they seemed to be very intelligent. I fell for it. But then time passed and I started getting more political. I started growing up and started caring for things that I didn't care for. And I started to feel like I had absolutely no power in this world. And my finances, my health, everything, I had no power. So I started improving my health. And when I started improving my health, I noticed how doctors were lying to me. The food industry was lying to me. Then I started experimenting with a lot of things with my lifestyle. Then I started telling those things to other people, and people got super interested. And then I just didn't stop. I was just thinking, what if I change this? What if I change that? And then it got to the point where, let's see what Bitcoin is all about. Because then I was in the right mindset to look at Bitcoin and actually understand it and understand the value of Bitcoin. Because to a lot of people, Bitcoin is valuable if the price goes up. To me,
Yes.
Even if the price goes down, there's still value in self-custody of your own money. Because I rather have self-custody of my money and that money's purchasing power going down a little than having 100% purchase power and I'm not having self-custody of it. And now I kind of orange pilled myself, but honestly, hanging out with Bitcoiners, they orange pill me a little bit more because I start seeing how they do some stuff. I start seeing their life stories, and the community is very important in my self orange pilling.
Excellent. And how did you arrive to Peach Bitcoin?
So pretty much I just wanted to find a way to stack sats. And I remember I I found their Telegram group, which is very active, and I just saw that someone suggested a feature, and I'm a software developer, and at that time I was not working, and I just texted, "Hey, can I implement this feature for you guys?" And then suddenly it's like, "You looking to work? We need someone." And I'm like, "Sure." And then I joined, and voila, here I am. So it started very humble. I didn't there was no job ad or anything. I just showed initiative, and things just went from there. And it was a wild ride, and here we are.
We don't have control of what we eat. We don't have control of our finance. And when you discover Bitcoin, it's like going to, of course, the rabbit hole, but I mean, you might be a developer. So I think that when you go into the rabbit hole and when you discover Bitcoin, you just see like Matrix, all the code and see the world in a different way.
I'm not sure. So yes, of course, I'm a software developer, so it's easier for me to understand some concepts than to other people. And I already have like a good background in cryptography. I understood like all of the things of Bitcoin I already understood. And before I even owned any Bitcoin, I studied it. So I studied the elliptic curve cryptography. How does it work? Because it's better when you really understand it. And you need to challenge yourself. Otherwise, you're just following a trend. And this is what happens with a lot of people. It's like, oh, Bitcoin's amazing, but then Ethereum and then Solana and then this and then that. But if you don't really understand yourself, you're just going with the flow. And I didn't want to go with the flow because I've been going with the flow my whole life. So it was very helpful for me that I was a software developer, for sure. But it's
Excellent.
not
Yes.
the matrix. It's simpler than it looks. Honestly, Bitcoin is very straightforward. And I think that it wouldn't work if it wasn't straightforward.
Yes. And talking about because you said study Bitcoin, do you think that for someone new, first needs to study or first needs to buy and after buying start studying?
I think I'm going to say what Saifedean Ammos said in the Bitcoin Standard. It's study it before you own it. Because let's say you buy Bitcoin, but you didn't study it, and then you lose the seeds or you do some mistake, or you make a transaction that you overpay for fees or something like that. And then you're like, oh, I hate this. This sucks. This is horrible. Well, with self-custody, there you have the responsibility. So you need to study in order to understand what you're doing. Otherwise, just use fiat, just use a bank, because they made it very easy and comfortable to use. You can make mistakes with fiat and money just appears back out of nowhere. That's the thing about fiat. It's comfortable. So if you want to use Bitcoin, you should study at least a little bit, find a friend that knows how to do it. And for instance, my girlfriend is also involved and she's not a software developer. So she had to have some conversations with me. And I said, like, ask all the questions you need until until you're comfortable. And she did.
Is she fully orange pill?
Define fully orange pilled?
That is 100% into Bitcoin, that thinks that any other coin that is not Bitcoin is a shit. I don't know if probably, yeah. I think that fully orange pill is when you realize what Bitcoin is. You realize that Bitcoin is the only way to store value. And you realize that all the other coins are worthless, including fiat. So I think
Yes.
that this is fully orange pill.
I would say yes. I would say she's fully orange pilled. Let me ask,
Because
Joanna, are you fully orange pilled? Just say yes. She said yes.
no, I mean, the thing is that if you are not fully orange pill and you buy Bitcoin, you are not a Bitcoiner. You are an investor. So
Yes.
you are trying Bitcoin and trying to trade it. And if you also have many people talk about a portfolio. You have to have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Solana, and all this stuff, and check the coin, check the tokens. I think that when you are fully orange pill, is that you only believe in Bitcoin, that there is not other asset that is better than Bitcoin. Of course, all the other coins are crap. And also you have this need of talking about Bitcoin, that you can come with
Yes.
a totally stranger like you and me, and we can have a conversation about Bitcoin with the same passion, coming from different backgrounds, because you are a software developer, you understand many other things that I don't, but we can have a conversation about Bitcoin.
I'm going to give you my opinion. I really believe that Bitcoin is the ultimate store of value. I really think so. And I have this friend, he was a pastor, and he said something because he loved God and he loved Jesus, and he couldn't stop talking about God and Jesus. And he said, when you love something, you share it. You can't stop talking about it. So I guess the same thing that you said is like when you love something, you're sharing. And if you can't stop talking about Bitcoin, or you have the urge to talk about it, then it means you really like it. But I'm going to say something. A bit Being a Bitcoiner doesn't mean that you're not an investor. You can still invest. There's still value in, I believe I should invest in that company because, well, Peach has investors and the investors are Bitcoiners. So what I mean by this is that, yes, as a store of value, Bitcoin is the ultimate thing and it's our only chance in humanity because it will be very hard to replicate something like this with another anonymous person like Satoshi. And I think it's going to be very hard. But still, if someone can separate, this is investment, this is my store of value, they can still use Bitcoin and other things. And those
Yeah.
other things can be stocks, they can be gold, they can be even shitcoins, honestly. Because if you just want to make more money and buy low, sell high, you can still do it. It's like, I know they're crap, but I want to increase my value and some market prediction. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yes, I think that there is this thing where Bitcoiners are too much obsessed into Bitcoin. It's just Bitcoin. But I think that we cannot expect everyone to be a Bitcoin maximalist. Like with bigger Bitcoin adoption, like I work with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is my life, if I think about it. But I cannot expect other people's life to be just like my life, and it's not healthy. The bigger Bitcoin adoption becomes, the more people use Bitcoin without thinking so much about it, and I think that's healthy. So, so I think a lot of people are too obsessed into Bitcoin, and maybe they should take a step back and live life. There's more things than Bitcoin in life.
Yes, I think that I agree with you, and this is a good way to understand how the Fuller spiel. I think that we can rephrase and the Fuller spiel is like a person who understands that Bitcoin is the ultimate store of value, but again, you can, if you have other objectives, like for example, if you want to have more fiat, you can go to shitcoins, you can go to stocks, but you always understand that Bitcoin is a different animal
Yes,
of all the others. It's not like you are not going to use Ethereum as a store of value. You are not going to use stocks as a store of value. You just use these methods to increase your fiat, but
yes.
Bitcoin is the ultimate store of value. So let's go to Peach, what we are going to talk today. For listeners and the people who is viewing us, that probably they don't know what is Peach and they are new. Walk us through the basics. How does
Okay.
it work? How is the trade? Walk us the basic of Peach.
So just so I can say, guys, if you go to YouTube and search Pitch Bitcoin, you can find the YouTube channel. It has a lot of tutorials showing how it works, and we try to make it as simple as possible. So Peach is a mobile app for Android and iPhone, and it's a self-custody, peer-to-peer, no KYC Bitcoin exchange. So what happens is you download the app and you install it, and suddenly it already created an account for you. And what is that account? So it generates a Bitcoin key pair, so a seed and then a public key, so private key, public key, and that public key becomes your username. So as long as you keep your seeds, you have access to your account. That's the basic authentication of Peach. So no email, no nothing. It's just based on Bitcoin public key, private key cryptography. And then what happens is Peach is some sort of platform where you can sell your Bitcoin to other buyers that connect via Peach anonymously. So we use end-to-end encryption, and you can, let's say, oh, I want to sell my Bitcoin and I want to get paid in euros to my Revolut account or my Wise account or my SEPA account. And we support many currencies and many payment methods, but you just announce that. And then if someone says, okay, I have some fiat, the fiat you want on this payment method, I'm interested. And if both parties agree, then they enter into a trade, they exchange their payment data to each other, and it's fully encrypted. Peach doesn't know the payment data. And then they just, well, they send the fiat, and then the Bitcoin is sent. The only small detail is that when Bitcoin is transferred, it's transferred first to a multi-sig address that is both controlled by the Bitcoin seller and by Peach. And then after the fiat is sent directly, then the Bitcoin gets released to the buyer. So that's just the only step that Peach really has a hand on, because everything else is just encrypted, and Peach is just an app for people to chat, basically.
So you download the app, you put how many Bitcoins you want to sell, you
Yes.
just put the price, and on the other side, someone accepts and start the
Yes.
transaction.
It's as simple as that. Or you can do the opposite. You're a buyer and you want to buy Bitcoin. So you install the app and say, let's see if anyone is selling. Okay, this person is selling. Hey, I want to buy. And if the other person wants to exchange with you, he accepts. And then send the fiat, and then the Bitcoin will be sent to you. It's as simple as that.
And which payment methods you work with? It can be bank transfer, can be fiat, can be USDT or any other stable coin.
It's everything. So we don't really have like shit coins or stable coins on shit coins on the Peach platform, since we're just like Bitcoin only and following the Bitcoin principles. We don't really want to give a platform for Ethereum. So the current stable coins that we support are USDT on Liquid. But all the other payment methods for every fiat, every currency, they're available, and we keep on inserting new ones. Because what happens is, let's say you're the seller and I'm the buyer. I'm sending my fiat directly to you. The fiat never gets to the hands of Peach. So in theory, we could even use Peach and exchange Bitcoins for bags of salt or bags of potatoes. It's fine. Because as long as you're the seller and you say, yes, I acknowledge that I've received payment, I'm going to release the Bitcoins, it's fine. So Peach never touches the fiat.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. Like the payment methods is arranged through the parties. It's not arranged by Peach.
Yes.
So let's say if I want to exchange Bitcoin and the other person says, I have USDC. I have USDC in Ethereum or in Solana. As long as I accept, they can send me. I can share the or something, or
Yes.
I cannot do it.
Well, we don't. So when you create an account on Peach and you're advertising yourself, you need to select one of the payment methods and currencies that we support. The issue here is that, well, there's a big list and all that. So if currently USDC on Ethereum is not listed, and so therefore you can't really do it. But let's say you just list an offer on US dollars, and then that person, they agree, oh, I want to send US dollars, and then you said, and then you're chatting with the person and say, hey, would you actually accept USDC? And the other person says, well, yeah. Then it is possible, as long as both parties agree.
Yeah.
But we don't really advertise them, and we don't allow listing. It's the same reason we don't allow listing for sacks of potatoes. It's the same reason.
Yes.
But in theory, yes, as long
Yes.
as
Yeah.
both parties accept.
Yeah. That's the point, that you are a completely free market. Of course, you need to add some stuff for the development. You cannot put all because it's going to take a lot, but Yeah, as
And let's
long
not
as
forget
the
we're a
people.
mobile app. Let's not forget that it's something that
Yeah,
needs to like fit on a small
yeah,
screen,
that's the point.
and it needs to be user friendly. And Peach was created by Steph. Steph had this vision of creating a very Bitcoin principle oriented app that was also very user friendly and colorful, and that didn't feel like you were entering the matrix. So we still need to make it very user friendly, and it's a big focus of ours. So if we start allowing like whatever currency you insert your own, then we come up with some problems. Well, but what's the current rates? What's the current conversion? Then we don't know. So we try to keep it simple.
Exactly. So, and the process is, if I sell Bitcoin, when I receive the money or the potatoes or the meat or whatever, I have to send a confirmation to Peach.
Yes.
And once the confirmation is done, Peach releases the Bitcoin to the buyer.
Yes. Just small detail. It's you're the seller. There's a signature of you and there's a signature of Peach. So it's a multi-signature. So your confirmation comes with a signature
Yes.
because it's an on-chain transaction.
Yes, yes. And what happens if there is a dispute? For example, if I pay and the other didn't give me the Bitcoin.
So first, the Bitcoin needs to be in escrow in order for the fiat to be sent. So if the Bitcoin is in escrow, then we already have some security. So, and then let's say the buyer of the Bitcoin sends the fiat, and then the seller says, "Well, I don't want to give it to you." So in the case of Peach, you start a dispute, to talk with customer support. If both parties don't get to an agreement, but then Peach realizes that the fiat was sent, it's true, but the seller of the Bitcoin is just not being cooperative, then on the Bitcoin script of the escrow, after 30 days have passed, it becomes a single signature, and Peach can move the Bitcoin with just one signature. And some people could argue that yes, so the escrow is a single signature. It's not a multi-sig because it turns into a multi-sig after 30 days. Well, true, but Peach has a very good reputation. We never failed anyone. We never rug pulled anyone. So that's how we work. After 30 days, we can do some executive order on the escrow.
Yes, but at the end of the day, usually this transaction don't have to take more than 2-3 days if there is a bank
Two
transfer
free
involved. So
hours. Two free
yeah, that's
hours.
the
Like,
point. But imagine if there is some issue with the bank or something like that.
yes.
It's not going to take 30 days. And in the meantime, I think that the people will come to an agreement and solve the problem by themselves. The Bitcoin community, of course, scams are everywhere, but scammers are everywhere. But the Bitcoin community is not. Is very collaborative.
And also, there's other things that it's not just scams or sellers not being cooperative. You can just think of a seller that just lost his phone.
Mm-hmm.
If a seller just loses the phone and it's like, oh, I lost my phone, I don't know the seed, and then the buyer already sent the fiat, then what now? You know?
Yes.
So there's always these scenarios that make sense. Everyone's always thinking of either everything goes well or scam. There's some
Yes.
things in the middle.
Understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to take all the things in consideration because yeah, what happened if I don't know if I send the money and the seller dies in the middle? So
I just laughed, but I shouldn't have laughed. But
no, of course,
yeah,
but I think
yes.
that when you run a business and when you provide these kind of services that are two parties involved, transferring money, transferring value, I think you need to think about all the possibilities.
Yes.
So otherwise, it's not serious the app if you don't give the buyer and the seller feedback or a way to do secure transactions. It's not serious, and I agree that Peach is doing a great job. And you, I remember when I was talking with Steph. Again, was 1 year and a half ago. I don't. It was just when I came back from Riga, or a couple of months after. They were only in Europe. So now you expanded to Africa and Latin America. How important are these markets for Peach and the transactions?
So first of all, I just want to say that like since Peach is no KYC, it's not like we have obvious data that we have a lot of users in Africa and we don't know. So it's more traditional businesses that have KYC. They can have like a good grasp of the market and do more like region oriented stuff that we can't really do. So our hands are tied, but we see a lot of approval from Africa and Latin America. We also see some interest coming from the north of America. Um, I already did one podcast in Spanish. Thankfully, I know how to speak Spanish. Not so well, not so good as English, but oh, you didn't know?
I didn't
Yeah,
know. I was asking today on Instagram because my mother language is Spanish. So you're
yes.
gonna be invited next month to talk in Spanish with me.
Okay. Por supuesto. Hacemos eso. Um,
Excellent.
so yes, like but people know about Peach. People start to acknowledge Peach, and we start getting some requests of, like, for instance, in Africa, I had this conversation with the one of the I would just say the representative of Bitcoin in Burundi, African country, and he said, like, we need Lightning because we really use Lightning here. Can Peach use Lightning? So we're getting some of those requests, which means that people are looking at Peach. They they see the value that Peach has in the Bitcoin community and the reputation, and they want to use it even more. So we're already getting requests from Africa, which is amazing. So, and one thing I need to say is that the Bitcoin adoption in Europe is different than the Bitcoin adoption in Latin America and Africa. Because in Europe, it's more of a commodity, and sometimes, it's fun to have Bitcoin. Some people see it as an investment, but when you go to Africa and to some Latin American countries and they're developing and they're going through some hard times, they have a very big necessity for Bitcoin as a store of value, because some of their local currencies, they have such inflation rates that they're unbearable, and Bitcoin to them means something different than to Europeans. So expanding to those places means that Peach is impacting positively the lives of people. So it's not just something fun, I have Bitcoin. It's like Peach becomes a good solution for them to live life with dignity.
Yes, I understand because I come from Argentina and we are not only
Oh,
the world champions in football, we are the world champions in inflation.
yes.
So that's the point. And I understand why we need Bitcoin as a proper store of value. And the thing is that I came back to Peach because one of the guys from Bitcoin Research in Bolivia, I think that they did some kind of explanation of Peach, or they did a workshop in El Salvador, and they tag you. And that's why, how do you know Peach? And I realized that you are also in Latin America.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I was not asking, of course, you are not KYC, so you cannot see, you cannot say we have 30% of customers in Italy, 25 in Argentina. But again, I was talking about the feedback, and this is amazing because
Yeah.
you get the feedback from the communities, and you know how to improve the app to make it easier for the people to use. But at the end of the day, you were mentioning the user interface. We need to do it simple because as we said before, we need to make people use Bitcoin without thinking them that they are using Bitcoin. That's the point.
Yes. And honestly, one of the reasons why I said that we don't know our users because it's like it's no KYC, it's because there are some people that hear about Peach and then we say, "Oh, we don't have any KYC," and they're like, "Okay, you really don't need to insert your email, but I'm not really sure that you're not looking at my payment data, that you're tracking my IP address. How do I?" And these are the types of things that it's valued. It's like reasonable for people to think that. So By the way, Peach's software is open source. We open source the app, so you can see that. But if you're not a software developer, are you really going to look into the app's code? So we need to really emphasize that Peach really goes through a great efforts to keep the no KYC. It would be a lot easier to implement Peach if we had KYC, but that's the thing. And we need to emphasize that there's no KYC and it's really private.
Why would be easier if there was KYC because of the regulations?
Well, I was talking on a software regulations, yes. Yes. But even on a software development perspective, it is easier because we deal with some very interesting cryptographic paths just to exchange payment data between users through Peach without Peach knowing them. So I would say that if you get like a regular software developer to do that, he wouldn't know how to do it. Peach had to solve these problems, had to do some trial and error, some research. So there's a lot of things about Peach that would be simplified if there was KYC.
Excellent. And the users, I assume that trade straight from their own wallets. They don't, there is nothing besides the escrow, there is nothing in custody of Peach or whatever.
That is true. There is nothing else besides the escrow in custody of Peach. And it's shared custody temporarily with the seller. So, but there's nothing else.
Yes. Yes, understand. And as if it is non-KYC, technically we can use Peach from anywhere in the world. Can I use it here in Hong Kong?
Are you in Hong Kong? I didn't know. So
I'm in Hong Kong. Yeah, I'm in Hong Kong. Yeah, sorry.
Try it. Try it. Yes,
Okay.
it is true. Try it. Let's see.
I will. And now I have my phone. I shut down my phone when I
Restart it. Okay, you
start
try
my
it.
phone. I will try. I will try because I was saying, like, you realize from Africa and Latin America that you have users there, but because they use it, so probably I can take here in Hong Kong. And talking about the improvements that African users were asking, are you thinking about integrating Lightning, or you are gonna do on chain only?
No, we're going to go for it. So this year we released a new version of the app, and it was to improve the user experience and make it simpler, even simpler. And we got good feedback. Now we're just improving everything else. And we're a small company, but we do our best. So right now, until the end of December and maybe early January, we were just getting what we have at Peach and making it like better, more responsive, less error prone, just increasing the feel of it. But then early next year, we're going to be integrating new stuff. So the first thing that we're going to do is to integrate Lightning for sellers, which will be you can sell your Lightning sats on Peach. That's the first thing that we're going to do. Then we have ongoing conversations to do liquid, to do rootstock, maybe do arc. So my vision as an engineer at Peach is that I really want Peach to be in the forefront of the technology, because Bitcoin is a technological product. So the technology part of it is very important. And I feel like Peach needs to be on the forefront of the technology. And yeah, so there's definitely plans for it. Execution plans already written. Just give me some time, man, and I'll get them done.
Excellent. You were talking about Rootstock. I had 2 weeks ago the CEO of Rootstock, Diego Gutierrez Aldivar. And after you, in 1 hour and a half, I will be having a podcast with Gaku, that is the co-founder of Rootstock. Rootstock are Argentinians, the founder. And as you are integrating Rootstock, you are planning to add some, because as I know, as probably I'm wrong, but as I know, Peach is only exchange. But as you are adding Rootstock, integrating Rootstock, are you planning to do some more Bitcoin Fi lending and other products in the platform?
So first of all, can you get me on a call with your friends from Rootstock?
For
Because
sure.
okay, thank you so much.
Then I will talk with you for
Because
sure.
because we're talking about it, but the way we're talking about it is we're going directly to the DeFi protocols and getting the interest of the DeFi protocols. So for instance, we're talking about money on chain, which has dollar on chain, which is a stable coin on
Well,
Rootstock.
Money on Chain, I'm a good friend of one of the co-founders. So if you want
Okay,
me to
perfect.
connect with them, I will connect you with them. No
No,
problem.
we're already getting connected, but it's one of those
Okay.
things, you know, like waiting for someone to speak to this person to arrange a meeting, but things are on their way. But if you can speed them up, thank you so much. I would love to do that. But the idea is to first integrate. Let's see how we can integrate the stablecoin dollar on chain. I think that's what makes most sense. And you asked about DeFi. It's something that we're thinking about. Some of our users, they only buy Bitcoin. They never sell Bitcoin. And they're just hodling. They're just stacking. And if they're just stacking, it might become interesting for them to gain some passive income, some interest on it. And maybe Rootstock could provide that, or just the DeFi solutions on Rootstock. I think the biggest challenge here will be to educate people on Rootstock and our community on Rootstock, because again, we're a small app and we don't want to have like a lot of stuff crammed into the app, and we don't want to confuse our users. But definitely there is value to give to our users in providing some of those DeFi protocols. And there's also value for Peach to give to the Rootstock community, because as far as I know, the Rootstock community usually on-ramps into Rootstock through KYC exchanges.
Yeah, I don't have idea, but I can ask.
Yeah, but that's the feedback that we got, is that, oh, I want to use Rootstock. Where do I get my Bitcoin to use on Rootstock? Well, through Binance or through Coinbase, and then they export it and then they get there. But providing a very good no KYC on ramp for Rootstock, that would be very good. And that's something that we're considering. But it needs to be a team effort. Because if Peach just implements Rootstock stuff and we don't advertise it together with the Rootstock community, then it's a little bit worthless. It's just one more stablecoin there, just one more feature that some people don't really care for. It needs to be a team effort. We need to have all the communities synchronous so we can talk, we can discuss, and we can really solve problems.
Yes, for sure. I can connect you with the people of Rostock and Money on Chain. They are all Argentinians. I have the direct contact with them. Super friendly people that is super committed of solving people's problem with Bitcoin. So I'm sure that you will get connected. No, I was asking about the DeFi because you said that people is buying Bitcoin and holding, because on the other side there are people that are selling. But
Yes.
now with all these temptations or all this DeFi that if I sell Bitcoin, it's because I need money, if I need fiat.
Yes.
So, but now I can put Bitcoin on or as a collateral and get fiat. So have you seen that the transaction, and I don't know if you can access to this metric because you are not KYC, but have you seen like a trend on the transactions on Peach being affected with all this new trend of Bitcoin backed loans?
No, we haven't seen that. Maybe we're just not looking at the right place. You know, if we had a big department of data analytics and that kind of stuff, maybe we could be looking into those things. And honestly, this is a no KYC business. So the no KYC also extends to our way of thinking, and we don't really care what you guys are doing with the Bitcoin afterwards. So we're not really, of course, those insights are important for us to know where we market or that, but it's not like we're really, really paying attention to those things. We have a community and we welcome people to the Peach community and we serve our community. And little by little, that community is growing. Well, sometimes not little by little, sometimes we have a boom in new users, but that's what we're really going for. We're not really trying to look into stuff that it's hard to find.
Yes, yes, understand. And how about that? I read that you had and you said that you had a release a new version of the app. Which features have that this new version, and would make it better than the other?
So pretty much, let's just say that previously you had to do 4 clicks in order to trade Bitcoin. Now you need to do 3. That's just it turned from 4 clicks to 3 or something like that. But what really happened was Peach used to be a system where people would advertise themselves as I want to buy, and then sellers would advertise themselves as I want to sell, and then it would be something like Tinder that, oh, we match, and do you want to do this together? Sure. There would be something like that, but then we noticed that it was a little bit, it wasn't like the most effective thing because people used it in a way that they were advertising that they wanted to buy, and if they didn't find a seller, they could probably stop advertising immediately because they didn't want to get some notifications or something like that. So what happened is we just separated things. If you want to buy, you can either contact directly with a seller that has advertised, or you can advertise that you're buying. And if you're selling, you can advertise that you're selling, or you can contact someone that's advertising that it's buying. So now we have that mirror thing. That's why the new version is called Peach 69. We call it Peach 69. Sounds better. So Peach 69 is the mirror effect. So we do it like that. So that's pretty much the new version, the basis of it. And of course, we listened to our users and we added more chat functionalities, more visualizations. We're just listening to them. And one thing that I want to say is that we're doing new releases of the app every Monday. So every Monday, there's new features, new improvements. And I honestly don't know any app in the world that releases regularly every Monday. But since we released this new version, it's been every Monday. Every Monday we have a new version.
Excellent. Every Monday a new
Yes.
pitch from
Yes.
the 3.
Yes. A
It's a
new
good
peach from the
marketing.
tree. Yes, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because my background is with marketing, so
Oh,
it's
that's
like
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
so great. And what are some of the biggest challenges you faced building the a P2P platform, like regulatory, scam prevention, scaling, and how the team has solved this?
So I think the biggest issue is just the combination of regulations and how we can interpret the regulations and do things in a way that regulations allow us to do it. And so, for instance, one interesting piece of software at Peach is that in order for you to buy Bitcoin at Peach, you need to prove the ownership of the Bitcoin address that the Bitcoin is going to. So we do address signing, which is BIP 322, if I'm not mistaken. And it's that kind of stuff. And then how do we keep the no KYC, but also acknowledge that it's the same user because we don't want to have unlimited trading due to regulations, but we need to acknowledge that it's the same user. So we come up with some very interesting strategies to do those things. Also, to learn about the community, learn about the scammers, become an expert in what scammers do in order to make it as hard as possible for someone to scam at Peach. Those are the challenges. I would say that the software development part isn't a challenge itself. It's just the way that we need to solve those problems. the
Yes, of
creativity
course.
behind it.
Yes, of course. Software development it takes a lot of creativity to
It,
solve problems.
but I don't know. Like I think the solution of the problems is the creative part, and then software you just implement. But just coming up with the right solution, then software is just straightforward. Software is not that much of a mystery. I don't think so.
Yes, especially now that you have AI that codes for you,
Yes.
but it's like you need to be creative enough to solve the problem and prompt the AI to do whatever they want to
So
do. So
one
that's the thing.
thing, like honestly, this is a funny thing because I do use ChatGPT AI to do software development. But for instance, like the Peach app is open source, but the Peach server is not open source. So for the app, I'm like, yes, LLM, please help me, please help me, please help me. Then for the server code, I never ask
Of
out for the
course.
LLM because I cannot share any information with the LLM because it's very private stuff. But yeah, I think that we need to be creative, and then we need to be very it's not like not judgmental, but have some good criticism of what solutions we have and what the AI tells us. But if we are able to manage that, then definitely AI is super good in software development for sure. It really helps me.
Yes. We do a lot of stuff with AI here, and we are not software developers. So
Yeah.
I track, I create some kind of apps to track the meals, something like that, basic stuff, but also to do some production for our stream. No, it's amazing
Yeah.
what AI is doing. But at the end of the day, the creativity comes from the human. I think that AI will never try a copy creativity of a human.
I'm not
That's
sure.
my point.
I think some AI is. Uh, I think sometimes being too creative is not good for you. Sometimes you need to be a little bit mainstream. So, like for instance, if I'm going to code a new thing, oh, I'm going to use this software language that no one hears about, and something like that, and I'm going to try to explain why it's super good. But then the AI will be more standard, more mainstream, and sometimes being more mainstream is the best way. Sometimes our creativity can be used against us. I think that AI is really. I'm following a lot of what AI is doing with music, and it's unbelievable what it does. It's really unbelievable. I think that it's the super creative stuff. It's those groundbreaking things that maybe AI will not be capable of doing yet. But honestly, I don't think that we should put limits on AI and look at, oh, AI will never be able to do this. Maybe it will. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the point is that AI is just ChatGPT started 3 years ago.
Yes.
So and how it evolved. I remember when I started using ChatGPT, we give them to write some articles, and the articles were crap. And they were like no with no sense. I remember when Mid Journey started with the graphics, the hands were horrible, and you give them text, and the text was not readable. And now you can create. I created thumbnails for my YouTube channel straight with Leonardo AI. I just
Yeah.
prompt on Grok. I put on Leonardo AI, and I have the creative. It helps me to speed up the process a lot. But at the end of the day, some creativity of how to work with the podcast or how to which angle to touch. At the end of the day, I think that we still have the human factor, and computers, I don't know if they will get someday, but let's see. And talking about coming back to Peach, you mentioned that you are exploring Nostr integrations with Peach. Which technologies are we gonna enhance Peach features?
So right now we do publish all Peach offers. So if you're advertising that you're selling or you're advertising that you're buying, we post them on Nostr directly. There's this NIP, Nostr Improvement Proposal, of some specific events that represent that. And if you're listening to those events, paying attention, you will see the Peach offers. Right now, that's it. We've thought about other things, because one thing that we're going to be working on next year as well is to enhance the reputation system. So when because something very important at Peach is the metrics of the users. So let's say you're selling Bitcoin and some user comes and talks to us, hey, I want to buy your Bitcoin. And you can see the reputation of the user. And how good is that reputation? Might be a scammer, might not be. You might choose another user instead of that one. So one thing that we might do in the future will be some Nostr type of network friend stuff, and integrating that will be, it might be good to prove that those types of relationships are not being fabricated by Peach, just to commit even more to the self-custody stuff. Because that then, if you say, oh, this user is my friend, then it's even more self-custody that you're declaring that, and it will be on Nostr. But honestly, it's not something that we see to have immediate results or immediate gains. And we don't
Excellent.
see anything that Nostr can really, really do for Peach that is fundamental. We don't really see it yet.
Okay. So, and talking about looking ahead, what are the new, besides the one that you already talked about, the Lightning integration, any new features that Peach will bring in every pitch, every Monday pitch?
Yes. Well, some features will not be before the Monday. So I can give you a list. And the list is, first of all, Peach has a wallet. So you can use just Peach as a wallet and send Bitcoin and receive Bitcoin there. The wallet's going to have like a very big upgrade, and it's not going to be so long until it does. So because right now we're using Bitcoin Developer Kit, and we're using a version that could be more recent, and we're going to upgrade to the latest version. So then the wallet will just become a lot more efficient. That's one thing that's going to happen. So wallet is going to become great, as advanced as it can be. Then we're going to integrate some other layers like Lightning. One thing that we also want to do is create a web version of Peach. So get Peach out of the mobile phone so people can use it on their computer. Just so it will be something similar to, when we're using like Telegram and you want to open Telegram on your computer and you just scan a QR code. So we're going to do something like that. It's going to be very cool. So it's going to be like also coordinated with your phone, but through the computer. One thing that we really want to do is also provide some more open source solutions to the community. And we have a very good batching solution, which we call Group Hug, is that we just batch all of the transactions. So every Bitcoin that is sold to a buyer, it gets batched in a big transaction. And we want to make it open so anyone can join that big transaction and save up on fees. Because I know that, for instance, in El Salvador, they're creating those Bitcoin ATMs, main chain Bitcoin ATMs, not just Lightning. And in that sense, fees are very important. So if they could join Peach's batch to save up on fees, that would be great. So those are pretty much the plans. So other layers, Peach on the web, new wallets, and then more open source stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking for Pitch on my mobile phone, and it's not available. For sure, it is because
Okay.
of Hong Kong is
No,
blocking
is
something.
your phone an iPhone?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something important. I'm glad that you mentioned it. So Apple doesn't really like Peach. And why doesn't Apple really like Peach? Well, because to the eyes of Apple, we are a Bitcoin exchange, which is true, But since we are a decentralized peer-to-peer exchange, we don't really handle fiat and all that. But for Apple, they treat us like we're Binance. And if we're Binance, then it means that we need to have license to operate on every single country, which is not true. But they're just making it hard for us. So if you want to use Peach on your iPhone, you need to download an app by Apple called Test Flight, which allows you to test apps. You have Test Flight. Yeah, so if you have Test Flight, then if you go to peachbitcoin.com and then you go for the Apple icon that is there, it will just open the Test Flight of Peach, and then you'll be able to download. Can you try that? I'm actually curious.
I'm trying now. I'm doing now.
Yeah, thank you.
Install.
There we go. There we go. Okay. It's too bright, but maybe now it's just you just swipe right, like yes, yes, yes. It's too bright. There it is. So actually, can you try creating an account? Let's see how fast you can create a Peach account.
Okay, next.
Next.
Mine, privacy first. A wallet you control.
Yes, it's true. That's true.
So then next, let's start. Any referral code? No. New user.
New user. Now you wait. Account created. And now you just answered this question, like, where did you hear from Peach?
How did you hear about, I will say, the Bitcoin Libertarian podcast?
It's not there, but so, other. I say
it's my first time trading Bitcoin. Probably, no, I'm a Bitcoiner.
You're a Bitcoiner.
The level of orange pill, I don't know. Here I have.
So you're at Peach already. There we go. So
nice.
So you are, during this time, you created a new seed, a new private key, new public key pair, and now you can trade immediately. If you want to check
it. Here I have the public key. Here I have the public key. It's like the Nostr public key.
No, that's it's not a Nostr public key. It's
yeah, but it's like the same. I have to save it.
No, you don't. So if you want to save it, you go to settings, and there's the backups. Exactly. You see profile settings, my profile, referrals, backups. If you press backups, on one side you can see the seed phrase.
Yes.
Which is basically
yes.
It's pretty much all you need. Yeah, you have the seed phrase, and you can also do a file backup. And the file backup just you create a password protected file that is encrypted, and it includes your seed and also some other details like your PGP encryption keys that you use to encrypt your payment data and decrypt data, and some other stuff that is important for you. But it's as simple as that.
You saw. The audience have seen that I just download. Now I stop the phone because in Hong Kong, there are these scammers that call you that they want to give you a loan, whatever, and they speak. No, that's why. I can be on the podcast with you, and the telephone start ringing. But so you saw, all the audience saw how easy is to create an account on Peach. So just give a try to Peach, and to be honest, I like I didn't have so much time. I will be checking more the interface, but it's super simple, super easy to use. Anyone can use,
and it's colorful. And it's pretty.
And I like the name. You know, the funny thing is that Peach called my attention when it was in Riga, because I saw Peach Bitcoin, and I have a friend that he's from Switzerland, that he's a Bitcoiner as well, and his nickname is Peach.
Oh.
So when I saw something related to Peach Bitcoin, I take the picture and send to him. And I said, this is your company. So it's funny. That's why it became funny. But yeah, it's super colorful. It's super easy. I will check it, and I will let you know some feedback. So, and we are arriving to the end of the interview, and I want to ask two more questions that are general questions that I ask to everyone. The first one is, how do you see the future of Bitcoin?
We're coming to the end and you asked me that question because could go on for 2 hours talking about it. I see a very bright future. I see that the world is adapting to Bitcoin. The world is recognizing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is becoming less of price go up, price go down, more of utility and symbolism of a lifestyle and a change in society. So I feel like Bitcoin's impact is as healthy as ever. And it's the best time to enter Bitcoin. You're not too late. This is the most healthy time to get into Bitcoin.
Yes, excellent. And the last question, when Steph was invited to a podcast, their price hadn't reached yet 100K, and I asked to everyone 100K when. Now I can ask again 100K when, because we are in 87. But I changed the question after we moved. We crossed the 100K, and the last question is: if you had the chance to sit down with Satoshi Nakamoto, what would you ask, or what would you say to him, her, or them?
You know, I don't really think about it because this is one of those things. Like, I don't know, but I want to tell you something. Let's say you created the guitar, then
Mhm.
people start using the guitar. Okay, you're the best. You created the best instrument, but then time passes, and then you get amazing guitar players. People start forgetting about who created the guitar. They start thinking about who plays guitar so well that sees beyond the inventor of the guitar. So this is the same thing that if you think, oh, Alan Turing is the father of computers, would I talk this the same? I think that right now, Bitcoin needs to get away from Satoshi a little bit more because, yes, of course, Satoshi, the group or the person, had an amazing idea and they thought about a lot of details and they got everything right, everything, or arguably almost everything right. But I think that time is moving on. Let's stop thinking so much in the past. Let's look at the future because I think that Bitcoin had to be some type of cult or had some cult thought there in order to grow. But in order to grow even more, it needs to become something more normal that people like Bitcoin a lot, but they don't even know about Satoshi. It's the same thing about guitar. You love guitar, but you don't know who created the guitar. And so I don't really think so much about Satoshi. I don't want to get lost in the Satoshi thoughts. That's my answer.
An amazing answer, because I got your point, and I think that for Bitcoin to become mainstream or get a massive adoption, the next Bitcoiners, the next adopters, probably they don't have to be like us, because I think that Bitcoin will become massive. I think that Bitcoin already won, but will definitely win when people use Bitcoin without even thinking that they are using Bitcoin. So, and they don't know the story of Satoshi. The story of Satoshi led for us that are the probably the early adopters,
But it's different
and
from you than it's for me. It's different for
for
you
sure.
than it is for me, as it is different from someone else. And I'll say a new generation user of Bitcoin. I'll say I'm from a newer generation than you for sure. And definitely we see Satoshi in a different way.
For sure, for sure. Because what I was expecting, you as a developer, that you will ask things more related to coding or cryptography or something more related with code. I see from another perspective, like from like history or economics or monetary aspects. So, but anyways, it's amazing the point that you said, that you just admire, you don't want to ask something to the creator of the guitar. You probably would love to ask something to the guitar player you like the most. So that's
Yes.
that's an amazing question. So
Yeah.
Alex, thank you very much for your time. Has been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to interview next month in Spanish. And
Okay, let's go for it.
to share with because my audience in Spanish is much bigger than my audience in English because it's my mother language. But I would love to interview you in Spanish and enjoy of this conversation. So thank you very much. Anything else you want to add and how people can contact you?
Well, you can find me on the Telegram group of Peach. That's it.
Excellent.
Text me.
Excellent. And send my greetings to
Steph,
Steph.
I will.
And again, thank you for your time. Amazing what you are doing. And let's talk in Spanish soon.
Me encantaría.
Perfecto. And then please talk me in private through Telegram. And you asked me what you need from Rootstock or Money on
Yes.
Chain, and I will connect you with the people.
As soon as we finish this call, I'm like, give me this, give me that.
Excellent.
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. So, Alex, thank you very much again. And thank you very much to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the
Thank you.
episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, because you must help us to paint the world orange. Share this episode with the people you love. Share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and give them the orange pill. See you in the next episode of our podcast. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi. And that's all for today. If you like the episode, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media. Our X account is the Bitcoin _. Our YouTube channel is the Libertarian BTC. Our YouTube channel in Spanish is Libertarian BTC ESP. Our Patreon, the Bitcoin Libertarian. Our Instagram, the Bitcoin Libertarian. That's all. You can go there and follow us in all our social media.